Welcome to the Rocky and Meisty Show presented by Jew Stool. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Let's get right into it.
That's what I think.
That is a hot take.
Tell you what, Morty, I'm picking the Lions to upset here, and I'll tell you why.
Oh, Rocky.
Ridiculous answer. If the Ravens had J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Marcus Peters, L.J. Fort, they'd be the best team.
No, I'm completely missing the boat on it. You're at the wrong dock. Meisty, what do you think about this game? The Bengals got a shot?
I have here written down in my pamphlet, I have Bengals 35, Chiefs 30. I'm sorry to say it. If Bengals are going to the Super Bowl, they're the hottest team in football right now.
They playoffs with Jared Goff already. They made the Super Bowl with Jared Goff already. They didn't need Matthew Stafford to make the playoffs. They had that taken care of already. They got Matthew Stafford so that they can win these big games.
The most insane, crazy thing that we have never, ever seen before. Granted, they had 2 timeouts, but
I'm curious.
We want to talk about legacy-defining plays and legacy-defining throws. 13 seconds, and you get the ball in field goal range. That is absolutely insane.
Okay, and guess what? In basketball, you use a basketball. In football, you use a football.
Okay, Yehuda, a lot of big stuff going down in the NFL this week. Jam-packed. Free agency hasn't even started yet, and the biggest news of the NFL offseason perhaps has taken place. So here's what we're going to do, Yehuda. We're going to play a little game. Ready to play a little game?
I'm excited.
We're going to play a game like it or not. We have 3 big moves that transpired in the last few days. And we're going to ask you if you like it or not on a scale of 1 to 10. What do you think about it? I'm going to give my opinion. We'll get Morty's opinion, and that'll be a wrap. And this will be very fun. We got some trivia at the end, too. So this is going to be a fun podcast. We got a lot of games. You know, sometimes you just got to kick back and play a couple games, not be too serious all the time, you know? Life is a game anyway.
Yeah.
So let's get started. Let's start with the first one. Aaron Rodgers, chronologically, actually, probably the Packers, right? So let's start chronologically. Aaron Rodgers has re-signed with the Green Bay Packers. Officially, it was a $200 million deal spanning 4 years, $153 million of which was guaranteed. And the man is 38 years old. So, right, let's just put this in perspective for a second. He will be 42 years old, making $50 million. I'm getting the impression that everyone thinks every quarterback's going to be Tom Brady now. Like 40 years old, no problem. You know, that's the impression I'm getting. But let's get your thoughts on this. From 1 to 10, how are you liking this re-sign, the abundance of money for the Packers?
So for the Packers, it is very good. For Aaron Rodgers, is very good. For Broncos fans, I'd give it a 0 at first. Okay. At that time, I was definitely a 0 if I'm a Broncos fan.
Missed opportunity.
But those numbers aren't official. So I don't know officially if it's $200 million because Rodgers himself did say that it's questionable. So, but if it's that number, I think it's like a 6 or 7 because Aaron, he is amazing, but they have repeatedly, and he's won 2 MVPs, right? Back-to-back years, he's won the MVP, but they've repeatedly come up short. I don't think people who just equate success as winning a Super Bowl, I think is a little overblown because there is more to just football than winning a Super Bowl. Obviously, the Super Bowl is the end goal, but this is a team in a Super Bowl window that has repeatedly failed the past couple of years with Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback. So giving him 4 more years, I think, is the right move because you still have to keep trying. It's insanely hard to win a Super Bowl, but their defense isn't that good, and it's like average. And the more money you put into the quarterback, the less guys around him, the less money you can put into the pieces around him. They're tagging Devonta Adams. Who knows? I would assume he would be back probably on a 2 or 3 year deal after that to coincide with Rodgers' contract. But who knows if some, God forbid he gets a big injury this year and then they're like, 29, 30-year-old receiver, let's move on from him. And then they don't really have any other receivers besides that. And you just have Aaron Rodgers still paying him a boatload of money. So it's crazy. Anything could happen, but he's still top 3 quarterback in the league in the game. And I do really like that for the Packers and give a weak division. They're going to win the division. They're playing with the Lions, the perpetually rebuilding Lions, the now rebuilding Bears, new head coach, new general manager, and the Vikings, who are basically in a lame duck year with Kirk Cousins because he has 1 year left. I know they're rebuilding kind of, sort of, because it's a new regime. So they're going to win the division easily. They're going to host a playoff game. They could be a 1 to 3 seed, and they just need to win 2 games to get to the Super Bowl. So that's how I see it, and that's how Rodgers sees it for sure. So can they get over that hump? We'll see. And any amount of money is worth it to bring a Super Bowl back to Green Bay, and that's how they see it. So if they pay him all this money and he wins the Super Bowl over the next 4 years, then it was worth it.
So from the Packers' perspective, you're giving it 6.5, let's call it?
I'd give it a 6.5 and a 7, just because I've seen them fail. And if they fail and have to pay this guy, and I think a decline is going to come, let's say 2.5 years in, like we saw with Peyton Manning, where he just starts to decline, then he just completely falls off. I don't know if Rodgers will completely fall off. He's still playing extremely high level. But if the decline does start to come, then you're paying this guy, a potentially $153 million guaranteed. You are kind of screwed around.
Yeah.
Team building.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's interesting. I actually think the Packers have a pretty good roster, although they've dumped all this money just in the quarterback and receiver position. But I mentioned when we said the most underrated players on the NFC North, I said on the Packers, most underrated player was Rasul Douglas. And Jaire Alexander, missed for a good portion of the season. Rasul Douglas went in there, was actually very good number one corner. So you get Alexander back there. They're set up very well in the back end, which is the most important part of the defense. Since it's a passing league, combating the passing game is the most vital part of it that a defense can have in place. And they have that. And obviously they have the most important position, quarterback, and second to most receiver. So they have that set up there. The question is, my concern is that you brought up Devontae Adams. Like, we saw that when it came, like you said, they'll win the division. They're in a weak division. Regular season won't be a problem. But we saw what their downfall was in the playoffs. It was that when you took away Rodgers' first read, the second reads weren't there. We discussed this in the review game, in the review podcast. The second read wasn't there. They were taking away his first reads. The Niners did a great job of that, and that's why after the first two drives of that game in the divisional round, they had no success, very limited success on offense, except for that one play to Aaron Jones. So my concern is, yes, you have Rodgers Adams, which is great, and it's going to win you a lot of games. But in the playoffs, when teams start to catch on to that, are you going to be able to adjust? I think this can. This is the way I put it. If they get a number 2 receiver, a good threat, it doesn't have to be spectacular. Another Devontae Adams, a good, a good above average receiver, number 2 that can take the top off a defense a little. Every once in a while, run past the defense. Good route runner. They're in business because, again, you take away that number 1 thing. Valdes-Scantling just wasn't that, and they tried a couple other guys. It wasn't that. If they can get the number 2 receiver, then maybe they can get over the hump in the playoffs. So, yeah, I think it's worth it if their plan is to get another number 2 receiver and just invest everything in the next few years. That's fine. I have no problem with that. Rodgers is going to have a last hurrah, and he's going to have – when he'll slow down, I don't know. But like I said, he's playing extremely high level. Even last year, he was the best quarterback in football. This year, probably top 5. So we're talking about a guy that's still playing at an extremely high level. Yeah, I like the signing. I'll give it an 8, but it is a lot of money. I just think that there is what to say. He's still playing at a high enough level where you can just go all in for the next few years. So that's why I'll give it an 8. But it is a lot of money. So it's a all or nothing type of thing. That's really what it is, especially giving the franchise tag to Devontae Adams.
That's what we said though this past year. Then even he said that last dance, and he kept posting last dance, and then he comes back for 4 more years.
It's true. You're right. You're right. I don't know. This is definitely the last stretch.
They use Aaron Jones basically as their number 2 wide receiver, and then AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones, are the split backs. But
they're good weapons.
Yeah,
they're good weapons, but they need a guy that can run past the defense a little. You know what I'm saying? Get a guy like McCole Hardman. That would be a good number 2 receiver to have.
Yeah.
You don't need anyone spectacular, but someone like that. All right, so let's move on to the next hot topic. Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos. Now I'm gonna say the trade details over here, and this as a contrary to Aaron Rodgers deal, which it's not confirmed yet. I think this is pretty confirmed, but who knows? Yeah. All these details can change. So the trade essentially was Russell Wilson and a 4th round pick is going over to Denver, and Seattle in return gets 2 1st round picks, 2 2nd round picks, a 5th round pick. They get Noah Fant, they get Shelby Harris, and a good throw in Drew Lock. So what?
So the biggest throw-in I've ever seen.
The biggest throw-in I've ever seen. I want to say, though, I actually like the throw-in because he's on a rookie contract still, and he was drafted in the 2nd round. So he's getting paid very little. So there's nothing wrong with having a reclamation project, if you can call that, in Drew Lock. In his 4th year, it has not been, it's been a below-average quarterback, but hasn't been of the worst in the league. Look, we've seen worse quarterback play the last few years, right? So it's not the worst thing to do. But look at your opinion on this first. What do you think about this 1 to 10? From let's go both perspectives. Let's go Broncos first, of course. That's what everyone wants to know.
Yeah. So for Broncos, I really, really, really like it. If they would have gotten Aaron Rodgers, if we literally an hour and a half, right? We get the Aaron Rodgers news, and then we get the Russell Wilson news an hour and a half later. So if we would have get an hour and a half earlier, Aaron Rodgers doesn't go to Green Bay, he goes to Denver, I would have given this a 10 out of 10 because I would have loved that for Aaron Rodgers. Obviously missing Devontae Adams, but with all the weapons that they'd have, I would love that for the Broncos. But so for this, I'd give it a 9. With Russell Wilson, because he is really, really good. He's probably top 6, top 5 quarterback in the league, and he just he's got the perfect moon ball. He's the best, one of the best, if not the best, deep passer in the game. and he says he wants to play till 45. So he's even though he's 33, I think he has at least 7 really good years in him. He really takes care of his body. Like we know LeBron James said he puts $1 million into his body every year. I think Russell Wilson holds by that. And, he's a guy who wants to invest in himself like that. So I really like that for Denver. And they just, since 2015, since Peyton Manning, I mean, he wasn't even good that year, but they literally have been going through the same guy, big, tall, powerful thrower of the ball. And he just whiffs every single time. John Elway whiffed so many times that he had to step down and appoint a new general manager. So it's pretty funny that I saw this. That's pretty funny that John Elway was trying to find the next John Elway, a big tall thrower, and then the guy they end up signing is this big smaller scrambler, guy who's barely even 6 feet, and still though he's going to make the team. I don't think instant Super Bowl contender. They still have to play with Patrick Mahomes, still have to play with Justin Herbert and Derek Carr. Now the NFC West, the best division shifts from NFC West to AFC West. And it's pretty obvious that Derek Carr is the worst quarterback in his division ever. So it's going to be quite a battle between these teams. Every single one of these games is going to be Sunday Night Football, Thursday Night Football.
I can't wait.
It's going to be awesome. So I really like this for the Broncos. Like I said, I would have loved it for if it was Aaron Rodgers, but Russell Wilson is a nice compensation. And giving up Shelby Harris, he's 30, so obviously he's a locker room leader, but he's still an older D lineman. Noah Fant is a little hard. He's a specimen at tight end, but they have Albert O as their backup tight end, so they'll work with him. They got Jerry Jeudy, who you saw his roller coaster promotion. He was pissed on Twitter when the Rodgers announced that he was re-signing with the Packers, but then an hour and a half later, he's like, let's go, and we got Russell Wilson. So Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Albert O, KJ Hamler, like solid defense. They got guys, they got pieces, and now Russell Wilson. Oh, Javonte Adams, potentially Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams. I'm sorry. Potentially Melvin Gordon. Like this team offense is, I think, instantly to like top 7 at least, and they're going to be quite a handful. So I love this for the Broncos.
1 to 10, what you got
for the Seahawks?
For the Broncos.
Yeah, I was saying a 9.
You give it a 9. Okay. I'm not. I like the trade. I think that there's a lot of recency bias when it comes to the people that aren't a fan of this trade, because they think, oh, Russell Wilson didn't play that well last year. Well, according to PFF at least, he had over 90 grade in the 2 previous years. And even this year, before he got injured, he was one of the best quarterbacks in football. People forget. He got injured. It took him a while to get back to speed and had a couple nice games at the end. But granted, he overall did not have a great year. But there were injuries. There were other factors to that. Like you said, he's not old. He should have a lot of good years left in him. So you're getting him to, you're already having a multi-year contract. There's nothing wrong with that. Did they have to give up a lot to get him? Yes. But the Broncos, people have said, and it is true to a certain extent, 1 quarterback away from being a really good team. I mean, this team was in playoff contention until week 17 last year with a complete revolving door at quarterback. So yes, and now they're going to have one of the best quarterbacks in football, future Hall of Famer, Russell Wilson. The only thing I don't like about this trade is that you're in the AFC West. So you're going all in a division that's the worst division to go all in. The flip side of that is that Herbert and Mahomes are not going anywhere. So what are you going to do? Wait 10 years and just sit on the bench? You can't do that. So because of the situation, because the situation is not changing, I like the fact that they went all in. I'm going to give it an 8. Now, from the Seahawks perspective, I don't hate it because I knew Wilson was out the door. That I knew. And I sort of like getting Drew Lock because, like I said, it's a second, it's a $1 million, $2 million. I mean, he's not getting paid anything, So it's a rebuild. It's interesting to do. I find it interesting that they want to do a complete rebuild with a coach as old as Pete Carroll. It's very interesting, but that's obviously the direction they're going in. And now they're releasing Bobby Wagner and they're releasing Russell Wilson. I mean, listen, it's a rebuild. I have no problem if you want to start fresh. The franchise was in turmoil the last few years. They haven't been having the success they want. And since they won the Super Bowl, they haven't gotten over the hump. So I have no problem with it, but I don't love it either. Just because he does give you a chance to make the playoffs every year and to go far in the playoffs every year. So even if you don't have a great roster, we've seen that he can overcome that. But there's nothing wrong with the rebuild, so I'll give it a 5. I'll smack in the middle. How about you for the Seahawks?
That you're just echoing exactly what I'm thinking. They have been really missing on draft picks since Legion of Boom and since they developed the team, because they basically developed their entire team. That Russell Wilson was a pick, Bobby Wagner, Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, all these guys were draft picks, and they developed all these guys or found free in undrafted. So they developed this team, and John Schneider was on fire those years as the GM, but they just been missing a lot. And recently, Rashad Penny, I mean, that shows you the kind of guys they are. He played really well at the end of this year, no question. But he's an injury prone guy, but because they picked him in the first round, have to stay committed to him, and they won't cut him, and they won't really commit to Chris Carson because they don't want to be like, oh, we messed up on that pick. But they've been missing a lot in their picks. But now this chance, this way at least you get a lot more chances to not miss on your picks anymore, because they're getting a bunch of picks for this year, for next year. So they're not going to be picking a quarterback necessarily this year, as we've heard some rumors that they could be interested in Deshaun Watson, who could be cleared up by as of recording this on Wednesday.
Heard a lot of rumors about Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, he could be cleared up on Friday, potentially, his legal situation. So that if they trade for Deshaun Watson, then they draft a bunch of guys, and then they have draft capital, or they could be using all these draft picks to flip to the Texans for Deshaun Watson. Then they have a chance. Maybe they're not doing a rebuild as we think, and this is the long ploy to get all these picks to then flip again. So it's possible. Seahawks got a plan. Their front office is not afraid to make deals, and as we just saw, just traded Russell Wilson. But right now, like you said, it's a 5. It's a 5 overall until we see their plan really come into motion. And they got Noah Fant, who's a good young tight end. I like him. And like you said, if they want to kick the tires on Locke and maybe see if they can get him, develop him into something, then whatever. Maybe they could try.
Reclamation project, like I said.
Yeah. I don't think he's any good, but they could try. Yeah.
Yeah, they can try. Okay, so let's do the last one, Carson Wentz. Okay, let's what do you think about the Carson Wentz trade? I mean, so Carson Wentz was traded to the Commanders for I got it right that time, the Commanders. The Commanders for it was a second round pick, a third round pick, and a conditional third round pick, right? That's what Indianapolis got in return. And Washington got a third. They essentially swapped second round picks.
Yes, swap second rounders.
And second round picks. They got 2 third rounders.
Second rounder. Third rounder could become a second rounder though if Carson Wentz plays 70% of the snaps.
Oh, third round become a second. So it's also a couple. Okay, fine. So what do you think about that? Conditional. What do you think about that? Interesting.
I got to give that a 3 or a 4 for the Commanders. Like they had to eat Carson Wentz's contract. I saw that Adam Schefter tweeted that Commanders will take on Wentz's contract, and I was like, oh no! Like Howie Roseman, for all his faults, everything as Morty knows, he at least got the Colts to force. He at least made the Colts pay for Wentz's contract, And now the Commanders, they called the Chiefs about Mahomes. Okay, they were looking for Mahomes. They were interested in Russell Wilson. Apparently, they couldn't beat this offer by the Broncos, which they totally should have done if they really wanted Russell Wilson. They could have beat that offer by the Broncos, and then they have to settle for Carson Wentz. And they didn't give up any first rounders, so that's smart. But right, they swap second rounders and they give up a third round pick. 2
third rounders, right? So the Colts get 2 third rounders, and I mean,
not that bad.
You're gonna get 3-4.
Yeah, why are you taking on this contract? I know he was his stats aren't even that bad. Like he had 27 touchdowns, 5.2 touchdown percentage. Only had 7 picks, but which was only good for a 1.4 interception percentage. Not even that bad. And DVOA said he's average. He's 16th total, so he's fine. He's a good system quarterback. If they want to have a run game, they have a solid O-line, but he just always makes those mistakes. He's going to find a way to make those "what are you doing" mistakes. So we saw against the Titans when he throws a left-handed intercept pick six. Like, what are you doing? Like that's the Carson Wentz we've come to know and love. Unfortunately, after his ACL in 2017, and he's a little injury prone. He's the only guy we know who could twist both of his ankles. Remember that when he
oh my gosh,
for both of his ankles. So, like, I don't know what Washington's doing. And then with the Colts, maybe it's a 5 or 6. Carson Wentz, obviously they're mad at him. He's not going to be their guy. But what's their plan right now? I guess maybe they could go for Jameis Winston, then go for Jimmy G. There isn't that much in the quarterback market. Maybe they'll draft a young quarterback, but if they want to get rid of this contract, okay, I understand. So I give them a 6, but I do not like this move for the Commanders. Like, you got to settle for Wentz like that. Come on, don't do that.
Yeah. It's Commanders. I agree. I give it a 2. Actually, let me give it a 1. Let me give it a 1. I give it a 0 or 1, but we said 1 to 10. Carson Wentz had the MVP year in 2017, MVP candidate year at least. Since then, average to below average. That's literally what he's been. And you're gonna pick up the salary. I mean, the man, he's not good. He's just not a good NFL quarterback. There are better. I like the Drew Lock throw in as a standalone better than, and you're getting him for $2 million as opposed to taking on Carson Wentz for what is it, $20 million? I mean, it's gonna be more than $20 million. Going to take on, right?
$28 million.
$28 million. So, yeah.
Out after this year, but we'll probably take that out. But $28 million to Carson Wentz.
So that's exactly. So for the Commanders, it's 1. From the Colts' perspective, it's interesting because, like, what was their plan to begin with? They were gonna just they are the ones that took on some of Carson Wentz's salary, at least at first, from the Eagles, right? Yeah. What do they think would happen? They're gonna win the Super Bowl, and then what was the long-term plan? And then we're just gonna trade him after this year after we win the Super Bowl. And what was your alternative? Your alternative was, well, we're not going to make the Super Bowl, or we'll miss the playoffs, which is what happened, and then we'll trade him either way. So what was the long-term plan there? I don't really know where the Colts were going with this, to be honest. But now that they did this trade, I have no problem with it. I give it a 7 because as a standalone thing, I like it. Get rid of the salary. When you look in the scope of things, I'm very confused.
I think he just pissed them off so much. I think their plan was Carson Wentz long-term, or at least for 2 years, because they probably would have exercise the out after this past year, but I think that nailed in the coffin. Just the defense didn't play that well, but losing to the Jags, all you have to do is beat the Jags, go to the playoffs, and that's what are you doing? You have one of your worst games of the season. You lose to the freaking Jaguars, and you
with bags on their heads.
With bags on their heads. No clown noses on their face. Come in as a joke. They were showing up as a joke because their team is so bad, and they beat you. They beat you. You're a team that solid run game, solid defense that people didn't really want to play. They're getting some dark horse love, as no one really wants to play them in the playoffs, and then they don't even make the playoffs.
I know.
That's what I think is a nail in the coffin.
Goodness gracious. Morty, we'll get to the trivia. First, do you want to rate it 1 to 10 from the Commander's perspective?
Yeah, like you said, we can't do 0, right?
No.
I mean, honestly, listen, I'm so excited to watch Carson Wentz play against Philly. So honestly, it's a 10. Call it a 10.
You're excited for him to throw passes to the Eagles again.
Yeah, right? He's going to get confused. It's going to be great. He doesn't even know his own team name. It just changed this year. Be like, oh, Eagles, go. Throw it. Amazing. I'm hyped.
And they play them twice, and Carson Wentz is playing the Colts. I think they go to Philly or they host Philly. I'm not exactly sure, but the Commanders are playing Indy. I was going to say, I meant Indy. They're playing the Colts, and the Broncos. Russ is going to Seattle, and they're playing the Seahawks. So that game, is for sure going to be Sunday Night Football. That's going to be huge. That's going to be a big game. So all these reunions going to be so fun.
All right, let's do the trivia. We'll do a 5-minute trivia, and we'll call it a day, Morty. So here we go. Our first Rocky and Meisty trivia, brought to you by Juice Tool, as always. And we got Morty hitting us up with trivia. Got the trivia ready there?
Yeah, we're good to go.
All right.
We don't have any buzzers or bells, so
we'll have to work on the exact format of the trivia.
Do we say our name to lock in, buzz in?
Say ding. Say ding. Ding or buzz.
Ding or buzz.
Whoever gets some more questions at the end wins, obviously.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
10 questions. We can do 10 questions.
First question. Who was the starting quarterback for the Redskins at the beginning of the 2011 season?
Ding.
Rocky.
Campbell. Last name Campbell. Shoot.
Yehuda for the steal.
Ding. Delhomme.
All right. The correct answer was Rocky?
No. I don't know who it is.
No. Rex Grossman.
Oh, the Grossman.
The Grossman.
Okay, next.
All right.
Okay, you're getting deep. The first question, you're going deep trivia.
I know. You're already getting deep. All right, we got 9 left.
Listen. These were Rocky's questions. So.
Oh, Rocky knows, so he knows the answer.
No colluding here. No colluding here. I didn't do that.
No collusion allowed. Okay. Okay. We'll ease off a little bit. In 2013, Chip Kelly debuted as head coach for what team?
Ding.
Yehuda.
Philadelphia Eagles.
We both knew that. You got it first, though. You got the ding first.
We knew.
Okay.
8 left.
How about let's do another Eagles question. I like it. Who coached the Philadelphia Eagles in 2008?
Ding.
Yehuda.
Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Who got it first?
I think Yehuda beat you there.
Let's go.
Rocky, you might need faster Wi-Fi for this one.
Man, that's my problem. Okay, it's 2-0. We got 7 left. I need to catch up here.
Okay. Who defeated the Bears by 1 point in their opening game for the 2018 NFL season?
You're going to do this to me now. Oh, man.
Come on, guys. Don't think too hard.
Ding.
Oh,
Packers.
That was same time. I'll give it to Rocky. Yes, the Packers. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I have to give 7 points. Okay, 2-1. I'm catching up.
I remember that was the game where he got injected with something at halftime, and he got.
That was good call.
Yeah, at halftime. That was crazy.
I just guessed Packers.
Yeah. Good guess. Yeah.
Okay. This one, I think this one's a little tougher. Who was fined more than $13,000 for his touchdown celebration in a Monday night game?
Ding. Odell Beckham.
And Rocky?
Oh.
Terrell Owens.
Nope.
Randy Moss.
We both got it wrong.
Nope.
Who was it?
2 first names.
2 first names. Tyreek Hill.
We gotta.
Marcus Peters.
Marcus Peters.
Oh, the Raven. Marcus Peters.
Guys, a Ravens question. Come on.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
we got 5 left, you think? All right, we'll do whatever we could.
Yeah.
Okay. Who was the 2017 Walter Payton Man of the Year recipient?
Ding.
Yehuda.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Incorrect. Rocky.
Oh. This is an on-field stuff. So.
Matt Burke.
Nope.
he got it 1 year. I don't remember which year it was.
Think family. Or legacy? Family.
Family of Walter Payton?
J.J. Watt. The Watt family. Football family.
Oh, right. Hurricane Harvey, right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, 2-1 still. We got 4 left.
Okay. Who was the starting quarterback for the Buffalo Bills at the beginning of the 2011 season?
Ding.
Rocky.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh,
correct.
That was my guess. Yes. Good guess.
3 left. Let's go, baby. 2-2.
Okay. Drew Brees broke which of these quarterbacks' records of 48 consecutive games with a touchdown?
Ding. Johnny Unitas.
Johnny Unitas, yes. You did say ding before the question was over.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
You'll get it.
2 left, baby. Let's go. 3-2. We're coming down to the wire.
Who did the New York Jets draft in the first round of the 2018 NFL draft?
Ding. Sam Darnold.
Correct.
No, come on. You
All
won.
right.
We can do the last one.
Hey. Last questions were 3. Last questions were 3.
What team hired
Fine,
Matt Nagy as their head coach?
Ding.
Rocky.
Bears.
Bears. All right. Rocky,
No,
let's
you
wrap
win.
us up.
You win. That didn't count. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. That was a lot of fun. We played some games. We did a lot of fun stuff here. So thank you for joining us, everyone. Remember to subscribe to the podcast on YouTube and Spotify, and have a great night.